From Craig Rolson in Europe, David Gerber in Brazil, and our editor-in-chief and publisher, Don Oshman, it's time for this week's Sunday Night Week in Review.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Don Oshman, editor-in-chief and publisher of HideNet Market Reports. It's Sunday, October 26th, 2014, and thanks for tuning in again. Craig Rolson, our European editor, reports there's a softening trend in the European bovine market overall, and cows as well. The pizzazz is just not there, and of course prices are still not very cheap. So the whole complex was just kind of slow this week with a softer undertone. So as a result, volume was pretty low. They're finding lackluster Chinese interest, and that's not helping the situation either. Very interesting report Craig writes about the vealskin market, where he detects a softer undertone, especially in some of the least desirable selections. So that once vaunted market that went stronger and stronger and stronger is now starting to back up a little bit in certain selections. Also, a very good report by Craig on the sheep and lamb market in Europe, and there's some price charts and graphs which will help you understand that market as well. All available at HideNet.com for free if you want to try a 4-week trial. 4 weeks for free. Pretty good deal, huh? And see what's really going on, and then you'll know why so many people subscribe, because of all the valuable information. North America, a lot of gyrations in the steer market this week, but when all was said and done and the dust settled, the market ended steady to last. Cows are continuing under pressure, but especially and mostly branded cows, which are available in the greatest supply, which are backing up, and a lot of suppliers, the big guys, are even just looking for bids. What price will finally sell, I don't know, but we do have some prices when you read the report. Also a good story, interesting story, how Adidas might possibly sell their Reebok and Rockport divisions. Whether it's going to happen or not, we don't know, but there are interested buyers, and Adidas expressed some interest to these buyers. Also an update on the West Coast dock strike. There's nothing going on now, and the press is generally shut out of that, but it appears that things are going along. There's some slowdowns, but cargo is still moving through the West Coast ports. Also, negative packer margins, which means the kill is slow and low, and there's no incentive for packers to kill more because they're losing money. Also, a very good story of review of what's happened in the last year or so on fewer cattle and fewer packing houses. Who went out, why they went out, what the prospects are going to be. Also, the USDA revealed their monthly cattle on feed report, and cattle on feed were down again 1% compared to last year, but at least placements were up 1% this year compared to last year. So maybe there'll be something coming down the pike. Also, one major packer pulled their offerings on Thursday night, saying the cattle prices jumped too high, we're going to reduce slaughter. And whether this was just a feint or not, and sometimes packers like to jawbone the live cattle market down, but those prices were at all-time highs, and packers will probably have to curtail slaughter as much as they can because of their losses. And that means less hides. Not good for people trying to buy hides, pretty good for people trying to sell hides. The year-to-date slaughter is down 7.1%, which is almost 1.9 million cattle compared to a year ago at the same date. Latin America, pretty quiet. The Brazilian fresh green market was firm again. One reason with that is tanner demand, but mostly low slaughter. And I think the Midwest and eastern part of Brazil, David Holes, our editor down there, reports they killed, I think, about 140,000 fewer head this last week because of the drought. So therefore, the packers have to pay more for the live cattle, and they try to get more for their green hides. Meanwhile, there's pressure on the other side for the Brazilian tanner to sell because there's not enough demand. Not enough demand from a lot of destinations from North America, from Europe, and from Latin America. So demand is down. Meanwhile, there's pressure on the lower grade Brazilian prices as well. We talk about that, and now $2.05 a square foot for TR1 is a pretty big price today if you can get it. There's also less interest seen in Brazil, interestingly enough, from both Italy and China. Argentina, the market's basically steady, even though the kills remain low. This week on Leather Reports, we talk about a World Footwear Report, which gives you an idea of what's going on around the world. Also, in America, the 2014 Athletic Footwear Report and the back-to-school season, which ended in September. There's also a good report on the first half Chinese leather sales, which is surprising, and a global luggage report, which you should find interesting. And don't forget about our international market report that comes out every Tuesday. A trial is available at www.HideNet.com, as are all these reports. And coming on November 17th, our first of its kind ever HideNet International Interactive Leather Forum. So watch for that, which will be coming to a screen near you soon. But we'll tell you about that next week. That's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Sunday.